All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us again for another episode of Living Worthy. I am Rebeckah Ruth, and I am joined today by two incredible ladies, two incredible creatives, I should say. So I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Marie Claire, go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Rebeckah Frederick. I am a model in the Tampa Bay area.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. And Ashley, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My name is Ashley Barrett, and I am a fashion and financial professional. So I style as well as, put visions together with budgets and things for women and people that enjoy fashion while also helping a lot of people with their finances. And so I blended the two things that I love together and I created a fashion and finance brand. And so I'm excited and I'm located in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Whoop, whoop, Hampton Roads. No, well, I think that's a great conversation, great combination, I should say, which should lead to a great conversation today. Fashion and finance, because fashion, of course, it's the glitz, it's the glam, it's the expensive designer things, but let's keep it real for those of us who work in this industry. Is it always the glitz and the glam and the Louis Vuitton and the Louboutins for those of us actually working day to day in this industry? No. See, everybody's shaking their head before I even finish the sentence. Absolutely not. So let's have that conversation. First of all, Ashley, explain a little bit more about that combination, how that combination works, the fashion and the finance.
Well, thank you. The combination, just to be honest with you, just to even tell you where the idea came from, I actually was having a conversation with my mentor. And so I want to throw that out there. If you are trying to get in any any industry, I don't care what it is, you want to be able to find someone in the industry that has pretty much maybe succeeded at a level that you look to, accomplish. And so I was able to get with her and I really wanted to build a brand. I knew that I knew business. I knew, man, I have these great ideas and I want to execute them, but how do I build a brand? And she's been so great at helping so many other women build their brand. And so I had a conversation with her and she said, well, what are two of the things that you just absolutely adore? And I was like, well, fashion, because I love thrifting. I love just the thrill of finding pieces and putting them together and seeing it all come together. Right. And then I'm like, well, I love to educate. I love education. That's what, my degree was in. So I'm like, I love to educate. She's like, bingo. How about fashion and finance? Because Ashley, you're educating in both of them anyway. Right. And in order to really succeed in any business, you got to understand money. You have to understand the principles of money and financial concepts. And I was like, wow, this is great. I'm going to combine the two and I'm just going to see how this works. Right. And that's really how the passion part came about. And over the years of just her coaching me on how to really combine it, how to present this brand, I'm so grateful for. And so, the person you see today is because I went and I sought the mentorship to really know how to construct my brand together. But it's just very important, especially when it comes to business and in any industry, even just your personal life, right? Money is absolutely important. And I know most people think, well, it's not that important. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, it's kind of up there with oxygen.
Right.
You need it, right? You need it. So you need to be able to know how to handle it, right? So that you can start to, reinvest or build your brand or do the things that you want to really accomplish, right? And I'm glad that I was able to find early, I can really combine two things that I'm passionate about. And it still serve people. I love it. And that's literally how my brand just came about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you touch on something because I say it all the time and I'm very adamant about this in this industry is that you are a brand, you are a business. I think a lot of people, and I think Marie Claire, I know you think differently, but a lot of people in this industry are like, well, I'm just going to stand up here and be a model, or I'm just going to, go out and style hair or just go out and be a makeup artist. But they don't think about, first of all, long term, okay, the longevity piece of it. And they don't think about the fact that you are a brand, just like Nike, just like, Lululemon, like those are all brands. So every time you step out and you do your thing in this industry, that is creating your brand. And so then, just like you would with any other business, turning that brand into a business. And I tell people all the time, you are the business. You are the business. You may not have a brick and mortar or anything like that, but every time you step out, you are advertising your business. You are the business. And so you have to start treating yourself that way. And you have to start taking your business seriously, like you would if it was a brick and mortar. I think that trips people up sometimes. I think they don't think that way. And I don't know why. But I think that like we need to start teaching this more. And I'm only talking about this industry because this is the industry we're in. But I feel like this needs to be taught more in this industry, how to really like look at your finances, look at your business, look at your branding and monetize and all of that stuff. And also income producing activity. I'm big on that too.
Yeah.
I should said that part.
Yeah.
So for example, Marie Claire, you're a model, right? And so when you're thinking about modeling, what, like, I know you do because I know you, but what are the things going to, when you're thinking about doing a shoot or a commercial or anything like that, like aren't you thinking about your brand and whether or not this fits into your brand and who Marie Claire is as a brand?
I think I would say yes to that. It depends. There's certain areas or certain visuals that I'm not comfortable with. There's certain, I guess, concepts that it's just not me, and I would not participate. I would not participate in. I guess financial wise, I absolutely have to think about it. It's kind of the cost benefit ratio, my time versus the compensation versus, well, how long is that image going to be used for? How am I being compensated? When am I going to get paid? Because as a model, especially being an agency model, it's not a 2 weeks. It's not a 2-week paycheck. There's no PTO. There's no health insurance. There's no dental. It's a gig job. It's per gig that you do. So the finances of that, again, it's the cost benefit ratio in addition to what my morals or what my values are and how I want to put my image out there.
Right. Yeah, I think it's important for people to understand that when you're first, not even when you're first starting out, you know what, it depends on where you are and what you do, because even some people who've been in the industry for a long time still are not making enough money where they can, I don't know, charge $10,000 a day, or whatever that you can actually live off of, just, doing 1 gig a week type of thing. It doesn't happen right away. So I think that you have to be realistic in that sense, but then also be smart. Okay. Like, just like in the entertainment industry, you'll see someone in this industry who will get that big contract, right? That big one that you've been waiting on. And it's great. It's awesome. Next thing I know, you're out here buying this big car and everything. And I'm like, boo, like that. No. like I know it's great money and I know it's awesome. I'm so happy for you, but invest that back into yourself, invest that back into your business, invest that, talk to Ashley Barrett and invest into whatever else, but like invest it. Don't go and like blow it, because one, you don't know when the next big contract like that is coming, right? And two, it's just smart. Again, your business. So think of in the sense of, this is great, this is awesome, I can take care of my family with this for the next year, whatever it is, but let me take it and let me get some return. Listen, I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but let's go and get some return on this and invest it back and take classes or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? So I think that that's another thing, is that people see that big payday and they're like going crazy. Like, simmer.
Remember the taxes that you have to pay on it, just
that part.
Yeah, that's very real. And I'm glad that you mentioned that and you really brought that up, because taxes is definitely climbing. you know, and we have to really take things like that into consideration when we are, you know, being the business people that we, you know, are. You know, it's time, it's money, yes, but not only will you pay me for my time, you're gonna have to pay me my worth, because cost of living is going up.
Right.
You know, it costs to live, and so I need to know that I'm gonna be able to really be, you know, compensated in more than one way. You know, whether that is me constantly being able to use these images not just for that. You know, I need to be able to know that maybe I can utilize these images to be able to help me, you know, in my portfolio, or to be able to help me with whatever else I'm trying to book. You know, I need to be able to utilize this in more than one way. And so
Right.
we
You
have
have
to
to
keep
eat.
that, yeah, we have to keep that in consideration, because of, like you said, the taxes and things that we still have to, you know, write off as business owners. And we want to be able to be at a place of course, financial freedom. People don't get into an industry, you know, to make $10.
Right.
Not in fashion anyway. I mean, think about it.
Right.
Prada, all you start really thinking about the designers, you know, and I know right now it's an emergence of a lot of Black designers getting a lot of spotlight now. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm kudos and I'm excited, but we have to make sure that we understand, you know, are these designers being able to really get a financial education? Are they really knowing, man, you can really be that next Gucci, you know, but are
Mm-hmm.
you really building your empire the right way? Are you really reinvesting in your business correctly?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thank you for bringing that up. And I'm sure the model will be able to really vouch for that. You know, with some of the shows that she's maybe have walked in, or some of the people she's, you know, ran in contact with, beautiful. But now she's understanding, man, I have to kind of charge my worth, because it's a
Yeah,
guy that is an uncle who never really sends us gifts.
yeah,
He loves to get his money, you know, and
yeah,
if I have to pay him, I really have to think about me as well.
Right.
correct,
Mm.
correct.
Mm-mm-mm.
I know
So
now for me,
well, go ahead, Marie
I know
Claire.
now for me, one thing that I'm investing in or learning about is cryptocurrencies, precious metals,
Yeah.
to be able to have something that's sustainable and something, you know, I think, well, with precious metals at least, something that has, you know, a long-term feasibility, income wise, you know, this is sheetrock, this is attached to a mortgage, you know. So I have to be aware, especially in doing freelance work. There's, I get offers that I have to turn down because it's just not, the cost benefit ratio is not there. It's not that I don't want to do it, but at the end of the day, I have to think of the fact that I still don't have AC in the car, you know. um, things have to be paid, and it's just the simple business logistics. And for me to take these types of jobs, I think it also lends to me disrespecting my craft and disrespecting where I am at this point. It's not, well, it's not that it's, how would I say it? I am not at a point where I should be taking anything that does not enhance my income or my moral and or my soul being. And it's unfortunate, as I've experienced it, it's here in the Tampa market, it's people that are in the industry that know the business that are asking you to do things for $25 an hour,
That's how it usually works.
you know? And it's like, wow, another thing that I always wonder is, like you were saying, Rebecca, we see these models or people on Instagram, you're living the life, you're having the Mai Tai and the sushi in Tulum. Okay, that's fine. For modeling, like I said, it's, we don't get paid every week. What are you doing in the times when you're not booking work? Nobody is saying that. Are you taking on part-time jobs? Are you taking on full-time jobs? Are you taking on promotional jobs? How are you investing? How are you investing that money to where you can say, okay, well, I'm going to take a break from doing full-time work. I want to go back to modeling because that is my passion. What are girls doing? I know what I'm doing. I take on a lot of promo work. I've worked part-time. I've worked full-time. How are you making this money happen to where I see you on Instagram doing all of this? Because we don't get booked every day. You know, I don't get a job every day. So how are you eating, sis?
Right. I think most of us, unless you know, even if you have like private clients, so it's like most of us aren't getting booked every day, right? Like you said, it's definitely a gig job, even with private, clients. We don't need to dress our clients every single day. We just,
Yeah.
so
And I'm thankful for Ashley because, we don't have that part, or a lot of people in the industry models, we don't have that financial curricula to help us to, okay, where do I invest my money so that, I'm not hungry and I don't have food until like the next job. Ashley, I would ask you, where do we invest? What financial structures do we set up for ourselves that is long-term and sustainable?
That's a really good question. And I would honestly just recommend one for one, that you do speak with a financial professional. And the reason why I say that is because people have to understand that when it comes to just you really being able to get to another level income wise, right? It takes you really having to have an x-ray of what you got going on now. So just like a doctor, they can't see everything going on, but man, if they could just get an x-ray of it, they can really diagnose it. And so I always say, man, you want to reach out to a financial professional. I don't, me personally, charge for a consultation fee. I know some people do, but I don't. And the reason why I don't is because I really want you to understand that it's going to be a long-term goal, right? Your financial professional is supposed to be the person that's really helping you navigate yourself to a place of understanding more about finances. Educated first, right? And so start there. But what I will definitely recommend is that you start to diversify somewhere where you're actually building up that nest egg, right? Because like you said, we're not getting booked every day. So we have to think about things. Most people blow $5 a day on coffee, on whatever it is. They blow $5 a day. Mm-hmm. So now I need to educate them on, hey, where can we put this $5? Where do you want to be? I need to know your goals, because if 10 years down the line, you're saying that you want to be $100,000 or $50,000, whatever, liquid, okay, we got to kind of talk about, what are you spending now? What are you doing with the things now? Are you really reinvesting in yourself? And if you're doing that, how are you doing it in a way where it's producing more profitability? Sometimes we think, oh, I have to have so much to save so much, or no, that's this big misconception. You don't. You just have to have the right person that is willing to help you navigate yourself until you get to a place where maybe now you're more disciplined or you're more sufficient with understanding. But in the meantime, you need to first off say, okay, so do I even have a 6 months liquid savings account? Meaning if my job just fell out of the sky or things just didn't work out for me, I could still just at least lean on my bank account for 6 months to kind of get me through. If you can't say that, we got to start there. And this is the biggest thing. With as much technology as we have today, no one has a reason not to save. It is literally an app called Digit, Digit. that you can use to literally set up in a way where, even let's just say you get paid from that gig job. Okay, well now you have an app that you go in, you can set up what amount of money you want it to take out, how often you want it taken out. Guess what? It's out of sight and it's out of mind. Now you're building a nest egg, and you're not even really having to go and put that $100 on the mattress, under the mattress like you used to do back in the day. Or you don't have to physically go and just try to tempt yourself, because most people in fashion, listen, that money hit that deposit in that account, you like, I don't know, I did kind of see 30% off in my email. And it's so easy to fall into that stuff. But if you have a mindset of, man, I have something automatically set up for me that it's gonna take and start putting away in my savings, so that when I look up, right, those times where maybe business isn't producing what it should produce, I'm gonna say that, at least I know, man, I already had an app that was saving for me.
Right.
Out of mind. So it's no reason to me personally why someone can't save. When I look at the pandemic in an overall perspective, and I think about a lot of the, companies that close their doors, they're still online. So they even understand, man, I can cut costs. People don't want to go in the stores. They want to scroll this thing all day and order stuff. Now we have to understand, listen, let's take this another step. Let's really start utilizing the technology that's here. There's so many apps I know, out there that maybe save, maybe Digit isn't the one that you want to, but it's okay. Just go try one.
Right.
Now you can start to really put that nest egg to the side, because in the fashion industry, no, unless you are really at a place where you have built a major amount of connections, you won't be booked and busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so sorry that social media has somewhat kind of over glamorized this life, where just people are just
it's lies.
It is a Spartan lifestyle. The fashion industry, it is a Spartan lifestyle.
And that's serious.
Serious. I say it all the time. I love this industry. I've been in it for 17 years. I will be in it for the rest of my life. But I will never, ever, ever sugarcoat and act like, we're over here living large. Now, some of us are. Okay. But one, it took us years and years and years and years to get there. Well, some people are overnight, but whatever. No, it's still years. And those who are living at that level, they are sacrificing some, because I know, I've worked with celebrities, and then I know people who are currently celebrity stylists and stuff like that, or have been celebrity stylists, and they're like, one, some of them don't pay like that. Okay? They don't. So that's one. All right. Don't think that because they're celebrity, the stylist is getting paid like that, because a lot of them are not actually. And on top of that, they are sacrificing their whole life, because when you are a celebrity stylist, yeah, you get to roam around with whoever it is, but you literally give up your life, because when that celebrity calls you, texts you, you need to drop everything that you're doing, and you need to be at their house, at their hotel, whatever it is, and that's boom, done. And it was, a lot of people like to bring up, Jason Boland. And I'm just like, Jason Boland, first of all, has been doing this for a long time. Okay. And Jason Boland has a whole team of people now. So they're the ones scurrying around, pulling this and pulling that and going to the showcase and the showroom and all that. So Jason's not doing all that anymore. So it's like, you need to keep that in mind. Like, he has built his way up there. So he's not out there doing the grunt work anymore. Like, like a lot of us still are. So I was like, you need to take things into perspective, and like, reality versus, I don't know, I'll call it Instagram, reality versus the gram,
Yeah. That's so accurate, Rebeckah. The logistics of it, the backside of the pretty picture, I think we need to see that more. What happens when I do just have $10 in my bank account? I don't see that part, and I think it's disingenuous. My situation now, I've just had to, Rebeckah, I think, I left working at the post office because I was assaulted. I did have a savings, but if I didn't have maybe, cryptocurrencies, which is oddly weird, I didn't think I'd ever make anything in it. If I didn't know how to handle my money, if just handling myself and knowing, I cannot go thrift shopping just because there's a 50% off sale. You have all the clothes in the world. You don't need no more. You need to open a thrift store. I need to now focus on, okay, do we have gas in the car? What are my castings looking like? Do I need to peep out a little part-time job? How do I need to resource myself? I don't see people doing that on Instagram.
Because
nobody's sharing.
It's because people, that's not what's hot. It's not what's hot. People don't want to.
But it's what's human, and it's what's true.
But it's what's true, absolutely. And I think that we definitely should. I'm obviously not going to say the name, but I had someone within Worthy reach out to me and ask if Worthy could help her with put gas money, which is something that Worthy does. Worthy wants to be able to support people financially and things like that. So it was okay that she reached out. But this is someone who's been in the industry for 8 years, stylist and all that good stuff. And I'm just like, see, and, I'm never going to put her out there, but it's like, this is real. This is real. Yeah. And it's like, and the thing is, there's nothing wrong with it. That's
correct.
It's like this this, not shame, but maybe shame, maybe that's the
There's
right
a
word, I don't know.
reproach
What
about
did
it
you
that
say?
you should be on this level, and for you to be in this situation, you have to have had done something wrong, or you were not responsible. Where the situation is that life happens,
Right,
and life happens to adults.
right.
And sometimes it's,
Also, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, it's not that we're irresponsible. You're trying to manage it as best as you know how.
Right.
And I'm sorry, the other lady, I forgot her name.
Ashley.
And Ashley, and I think with people like Ashley, you just, when you have a resource, even if you don't use it then in that moment, you remember it. It's just kind of like, I use Acorns, and one of my financial friends, my financial advising friend, she just mentioned it to me. And when I was working, I thought, you know what, let me do this. Let me see if this electronic saving thing that's not a bank, does it really work? And it did work for me. I was able to use a little bit of the nest egg when I had to jump off the job to pay for the mortgage, to pay for maybe a broken air conditioning, things that were vital to the quality of my life,
Right,
you know?
right. And I also think, something else that has come up a lot recently, like, it's also okay if you want to work. It doesn't make you a sellout. It doesn't make you any less of a creative. It doesn't make you for real about this life. Like, that has been coming up a lot lately, where people are like, oh, well, I mean, I still have a 9 to 5. I'm like, what's wrong with that? Why are you saying it all quiet and like, like you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, where did that come from? Where we don't want to, so I'm less of a creative, and my 17 years in this industry means less because I've decided to keep working and keep having a 9 to 5 job, and I've decided, there's some people who never go 100% entrepreneur. There are people out there who keep a 9 to 5 job while still being hustlers and grinding as entrepreneurs in this industry. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. For some people, it could be economically smart for them to keep doing it. Because I'm like, why would you? I don't know what the number is now. I know a couple of years ago they said, 7 sources of income. I don't know if that's still the case or not. But I'm like, but why would you talk against someone having another source of income?
Yeah.
That makes
Right.
no sense to me. And
All have
by the
different,
way, you're not the one paying my bills, so mind your business.
come on, church, come on, church. When the last time you brought your plate by their door?
That, that is so true. And unfortunately, because of the Instagram era, because of this social media era, a lot of people do, I guess, feel as if the boss image is an image of high regard. Like if I've been able to, own my own time, and I can speak from this place because I have fortunately been at a place where, I have not worked for anyone in over 3 years. I am literally a full-time business owner. But this is the thing. I started out literally in my entrepreneurship journey with no safety net. I am not, a lot of other people. You have to pace yourself because you have to know you. I knew, man, if my back is ever against the wall, I've always been the type where I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to figure out a plan. We're going to get out of this thing, right?
Right.
That is me.
Yeah.
But can I say that was always me? Not really. But I knew that because of the creativeness that I just kind of had inside of me and all the things I wanted to pursue, I knew I needed to be full-time in a business to make that happen. But that's you knowing you.
Right.
People want to rush their level of success because of the glamour of the social media, this boss stuff, and it's a process.
Right. Right.
It's a process. So you keep comparing your chapter 1 to their chapter 30.
Ooh, yep, that's the one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's kind of like not realistic because and this is something you can research. Like, no successful business has happened in like just a year.
None.
not none that's like still around, leaving a legacy still.
Right.
None. It was not built overnight.
Right.
And yet we have this false sense of entitlement. Like, once I launch this, I'm supposed to shoot to the top of it. And no, success is a mere fact of what are you willing to find out through your failure. What are you willing to learn through this process, right? To help you get to a place of now you're there, but now who else can you educate or who else can you help? You know, that's what the ultimate, to me personally, your ultimate successful business owner looks like. Someone who has, you know, gotten to a place where they have mastered, right, whatever it is that they've mastered, and now they can build those 7 streams from what they've mastered. Not because they went and got 7 alt jobs, because I mean, you can master nothing when you have your hand in everything.
Right.
It's not possible. But if you're smart, you will say, you know what? Let me take the time to really like perfect my craft. Let me put these 10,000 hours in that it takes to really master something, because man, if I do that, now I can really start to build multiple streams from what I've mastered. So I knew, you know, when it came to Ashley, financial, even though I was jacked up financially, let me tell you that when I first came in the industry, I was still that girl that just spent a lot and didn't save, you know, until I realized, man, if you don't save money, money won't save you. So I had to really realize, you know, the same way I was disrespecting money, it was disrespecting me. So I had to go to a realization that Ashley, you jumped out, you know, with no safety net as a business owner. What are you doing? You know, I had to have a moment with myself, like, what are you doing? But in that moment, right, where most people may have crumbled or say, you know what, this isn't going to work for me, I decided, man, I have to just go and really 10x. I really have to go extremely harder. I have to really be profitable every day.
Yeah.
Like I had to wake up with a mindset of I got to be profitable every day. You know, so I love that line that Maria kind of referred to, like a business. You need to be a walking business. She's a walking business. She understands her value. Like, hey, I know what I bring.
Rebeckah. That was Rebeckah.
Oh, it was Rebeckah. Sorry, I'm just like giving everybody stuff away. She understands, you know, she is value to it. And that's what we have to understand, to be valuable, to become resourceful, to be that top earner, maybe in your industry. It takes time. And I'm so sorry that social media has glamorized this stuff to a place where people, they're not willing to wait for it at this point.
Right.
It's like this great facade. Like, it's like, no, I would rather see how fast I can try to do this. Or maybe if I, you know, post that I'm out of the country all of the time, you know, people, these jobs will try to, you know, pull me and say, hey, maybe I can be this next Fashion Nova model. I don't know what people mindsets really are right now. And I think because they scrolling, they're seeing this stuff, they think, well, you know, if I just, you know, dress up like this, or maybe if I just do this, or, and it's like, man, you have to, it's so much more to it. It's so much more to it. Anyone can make money, but not everyone, right, can really keep money and show you how to reinvest it. And so I'm so glad that we had this conversation here, because it's the reality that we have to deal with. It's the reality that we got to have with the next generation, with kids, because they're receiving so much pressure from this lifestyle of being a boss that they're not understanding. These people aren't becoming bosses overnight.
Right.
It's not, it can't happen. Even if you're a salon owner, you won't have the best salon in Hampton Roads overnight. I don't care if you go get the top stylist.
Right.
Because it's still about, guess what? The ambiance. It's still about whether your clients actually feel like they're getting their money worth. It's so much to that. You don't just pop up and just have a $1 million empire overnight.
Right. Well, I think you touched on it. You touched on something big. You said mindset. And that's honestly where it starts, you know, and I'm very transparent. Like, I was terrible with money. I was like you, Ashley. Like, I just, you know, I started making money, good money at a really young age. So I was just kind of like, you know, like, you know, thinking to myself, money's always going to be there. And I mean, I made it, like, I can make some more, right? Like, you know, I just had no concept. And I also didn't grow up in a household where we talked about it, where we talked about money, and where I was educated on money and how to handle, how to manage it. I love my parents, but they were terrible at money management and things like that. So I just carried on their bad, you know, financial habits. So for me, it didn't change for me until I found myself, you know, several years ago with a husband who left me with only $500 in the bank. And now all of a sudden I'm like, like what? And then it was like, at first I'm angry, I'm angry at him, I'm angry, just at the world. And then it was like I finally did a mindset shift, and I was like, I shouldn't be angry with myself, but if I had done what I was supposed to do when I was making all that money, like whether or not he left me with only $500 wouldn't have mattered if I had done what I was supposed to do. And that's when things started to shift. Instead of like blaming him and like putting it all on him, taking the responsibility back on me, because if they say all the time, like, storms are going to come. Life is going to hit you regardless. Life is always going to hit you, but it's your responsibility to be ready for it, right? So if you're ready for it, I'm not saying that it doesn't still upset you and stuff, but the impact is maybe less than if you aren't prepared. So when I shifted, I was like, well, then I need to do better, because him leaving, yes, there's the emotional part, but financially, him leaving shouldn't have hit me this hard. It shouldn't have, if I was, better set up. So, and then somebody said, I don't know who said it, but somebody was like, if you take all the money in the world and you distribute it to everyone equally, the majority of it will go back to the same hands. Why? Because of the mindset, the mentality of it. Like the people who didn't have money before, they'll lose it again, even if you give everyone the equal amount, because it's a mentality shift. And that's where it starts. I was while you were talking, I don't know if y'all watched it on Netflix. It's a Chris Rock show. It's called Good Hair. I think it's old. Old. Yeah,
a movie.
Yeah. So I just watched it. And I was like, what is this? And so I watched it. Of course, y'all know what it's about. It's about, but one of the things that like on the financial aspect of it, one of the things I was thinking about, because I'm like, that's fine. I don't have an issue if you want to wear weave, wig, not a problem. But he was talking about how people are not paying their rent to spend thousands of dollars on their weave. And I'm like, hold on a second.
People was laying it away, and
right.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening right now? So you're not paying your rent, but you're getting your weave done.
Yeah, that really opened my eyes when I saw that. It really opened my eyes. Like my eyes was like, I couldn't believe the amount of money, but it comes to show you that the hair and fashion industry, that's $1 billion industry.
Billion.
$1 billion.
But it blew my mind. Like I knew it was a huge industry, but for me, I'm like, we've got to do better, y'all, because I'm like, I know you want the weave. I know, trust me. And, I know you want it. I know you want to, look like, I get it. And there's nothing wrong with you want it, but you got to be able to afford it.
How to be able to afford it.
Like you can't be, facing eviction just, oh, well, at least I look good. Yeah, you look good on the street though. Yeah. Like, like, what are we doing?
It has to get to a place where people, and I'm so glad you brought that point up, if you were able to distribute money equally, you would still really see the mindset of a lot of people, because of them, whether or not they were exposed to those money conversations younger. Some people were not. Myself, I didn't come from a household, like you, that talked about money or even understood it. However, I knew that, I went to college. They still didn't even teach me about money. It's going to be totally transparent. Like, they didn't even teach me about it. So, I had to get to a place in my life where I really wanted to learn more, and I had to be open to it. And so we have to consider that as well, because as much as social media influences in so many ways, it's a lot of, Black financial professionals that are sharing content freely, on what people should utilize, or, where they should put their money. I try to host webinars myself, and I never did this before. It really wasn't until after the pandemic, because I realized how busy I had gotten during the pandemic. I'm like, wow, these people are panicking like crazy, and I said, well, man, if I start maybe doing webinars each week, 45-minute webinars, well, I just try to invite people to get wealth education, where I break down, what is the difference between maybe a fixed account versus a variable. Variable, those are stocks. People have to be educated on the small basic things.
Yeah.
Knowing that, if you have a checking account, do you even know, what rate of return you get on your checking account?
Right.
Most of the time, people are like, Ashley, no, I never really thought about it. I'm like, well, great. Next time you're in the bank, ask your teller, ma'am, excuse me, how much, and what is the rate of return am I getting? I need to know how long it's going to take my money to double. We literally have everything we really need to be our own bank. But a lot of times, because we don't, reach out to that financial professional, or we get in a mindset of, man, I can really just spend this or put this to the side or do something else with it, we never really start to see our money really make money. Right. And by default, we have to work harder for it. Versus if we just literally take the time out to scroll the TikToks and things where people who are financial professionals is really, sharing this information just for free. Or not that we're charging you, Yeah. So the information is there, but because sometimes of the glamorous, bossy lifestyle with the Louis bags and all of this, people tend to just, oh no, I can just get to that. I'll be able to maybe do an Airbnb one day, and the money I get from that, I'm going to purchase this Louis bag. But what if I could tell you the money you get from that, now you put it in a vehicle that's giving you, a super high rate of return. Now you can really start to see your money double. And by default, you become your own bank. Right. Now you see what, that small amount of money that you saw just for that Louis bag could really be the next step to your empire if you just discipline yourself enough to say, you know what? I'm really not at a place right now where I can even afford this bag. Because me personally, if you can't afford to buy it twice, you really can't afford it. So that was what I was taught.
Okay.
If I can't really purchase these boots, these LV boots twice, I really can't afford it. So I need to think in my mindset, man, okay, if I make this $1,000, $1,200 purchase, because I've done that before in the past, where knowing I could have really, those Giuseppe's, think about it, Ashley, if you would have put that in a index or an account where you're getting 15%, you look up in the next 7 to 10 years, wow, I would have really been, super liquid heavy to the place that now I can start to buy up properties and start building the income streams that I want to build.
Yeah.
But we've gotten in a hustle. I don't know if that is like they glorify this. Yes. Oh, I do this, and I do that, and I do this. Like it's just to burn you out. It's not to benefit you.
And it's like it's that. And I don't know if anyone said it, but I'm going to say it's an epidemic in the Black community. Like the Black community is lacking so much in financial education. It's not even funny. Right. And I was also going to say on Clubhouse. Yeah, on Clubhouse, there's a lot of people on Clubhouse that talk about, this. I was in a room the other day talking about it. But yeah, in the Black community, we like to do it a lot, hustle, grind, like, and like that's like the thing. It's in the music videos. It's in everything. Like that is what is a boss, right, in our community. And I'm like, meanwhile, what is a boss to me is zeros in the bank, stock, house, like whatever it is, investments. That's what is a boss to me, right? Because if you look at some of the, and don't get me wrong, if you have the money to buy the Louis, the Louis. We're not saying don't do it.
Yeah. We're just I'm still trying to get an AC in the car.
I'm still trying to get the AC. Right? She said, I'm still trying. So we're like, if you got it, like buy it. So we're not saying don't buy it. Yeah. We're just saying like be smart about it. Like don't buy it and then you eating ramen noodles for the next year. Like that makes no sense to me whatsoever. I had a friend who did that. She bought her first Louis years ago. And that's exactly what happened. She was like, now I got to eat ramen noodles for the next 6 months. I was like, but why? For what?
Why is ours always the hard and the tough way, as opposed to maybe other ethnic groups where their education of their financial education, there's usually a component of life that is that kind of like a rite of passage where you learn that. But for us, it's this grind, it's this hustle. When I think in this age, there are resources available where you have to be smart about it. So the grind is not, that it's more of a mental grind than of this tough exterior. I'm going out there and I'm this lack, as
Right.
opposed to I learned this. I know for me it's cryptos, it's Robinhood, it's Acorns, as opposed to I'm grinding.
Mhm.
I'm educating myself and I'm disciplining myself to actually do it or save $5. I'm a $5 girl. To save $5. Why for us we have these very hard and difficult concepts associated with us having a quality lifestyle or quality of life? Does
Well,
that
me
make sense?
personally, I don't know what you were gonna say, Ashley. Me personally, I think that that was something that was ingrained in us from way back then.
Yeah,
Okay,
unfortunately, yeah.
that's what I think it is. That's just continues to be passed on and passed on and passed on and passed on, of this concept of the only way to get here is for me to work and
Yes.
grind my knuckles together literally, and
Correct.
and everything like that. That's the only way someone like me is ever going to get here.
Yeah.
Also, we were not educated on how we can get here without grinding.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
just
thing.
learned about generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Just like maybe about 3 years ago. Thank you, Susie Orman. Um, I didn't know that concept, and I'm the last one to the show. You mean to tell me families have had these financial, I guess, things in place for their kids, and that's why Susie could get a green smoothie, but I just had to get water?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
It's
Um,
very true.
so why
Had a green smoothie.
is
Very,
this where it begins for us, to where we don't have to go out there and grind and hustle? We Is this where it begins, to where we do it with our noggin instead of with our sweats and our labor? Because I feel that, Ashley, chime in here, I feel that it can be done without the breaking of the back, the 30 years. I think that there's a smart way to do it, and do it very well, with your head,
yeah,
and understanding your craft, and service to your community, as well as service to self, but service to others, without this grind and hustle and all that.
yeah.
I
It,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, that is unfortunately has been drilled in us. And a lot of times we come from the generations where the mom worked 2 and 3 jobs and that's all we knew. So subconsciously, we fall into that, and we feel like, man, we got to keep doing that. And that was literally me, my work ethic. I can say personally, it was nothing for me to have 2 or 3 jobs at a time. It was nothing for me to, try to manage all these things, of course, until I literally was about to pass out and the doctor was like, you're too young, And so unfortunately, we don't even realize how much we age ourselves and how much we put our bodies through because of this grind, 3 jobs, that mentality, because
Ashley, say it again. Come on and tell the church one more time.
we do. We've been in a sense brainwashed to feel like we have got to go out and continue on this hamster wheel of every day I get up, I'm just gonna work hard. I'm gonna work 4 jobs. I'm gonna get this money, and then you get it, and either you're supporting, another, spouse, family, whatever, and you're still not seeing all of the income that you're working for. But the other ethnicities understand, man, your money really can work harder for you
Right.
than you
So
work.
while you out there grinding, they're sitting on their phones and cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. You're out there and they're just like, oh, another $1,000. Ooh, another $5,000. Look at that.
Guess what? They're the ones that log on every time to my webinars. And I'm like, man, if I could just see more of our people, I would
Our
be so
people. That's right.
excited because this is free. It's not,
Right.
I'm not making you read. I'm just saying if you simply log in and I encourage people, bring a notebook. Like I encourage people to bring a notebook because I want you to leave with more knowledge.
Yeah.
And to know that, it's not too many of us that log in, but to see how they utilize and they maximize on this stuff. So in a way that they're literally setting their kids up to own condos at like 25. I mean, the things that these kids would normally feel like, wow, I gotta get out here and work for. No, their parents are setting them up to be able to literally walk into, whatever it is that they want to really do. So they're having more options because, right, they're understanding it's all about maybe where I put my money. It's all about where I'm setting my kids' thing up. And a lot of times too, in our community, we have to be open to more information. We're not as open to the information like other ethnicities. And so they're understanding, man, it's more vehicles than a 529 plan. I'm not knocking that plan, but at least I know that's not my only college savings vehicle. Hey, I want to know more about the other ones. Now I can compare because I've been educated.
Right.
Glory.
You don't even want the education so that we can compare to know what's really good for us.
Well, I think
the brain is self-sabotage.
I feel like
teach, Ashley, teach.
It's a deeper thing. Like you have to change the narrative in the Black community, unfortunately, because I know even with my own parents, and again, love them to death, but even with them, I work from home. So to them, I'm not working.
No, you're correct. Most people don't even realize that I too, or people who didn't understand, well, I don't understand. You meet with people, through the computer. You meet, and I'm like, yes, because it's called a virtual world. I'm not just limited to my office in Virginia. I understand that it's people in North Carolina, South Carolina that need, financial literacy, that need someone to be able to help them. And what other way can we touch everyone without having to leave our home?
Our home, which is, by the way, very smart. The fact that you can sit in your home with a laptop, you're not spending gas money, you're not sitting in traffic, all of that stuff, and you're working, you're making income, you're helping other people, all of the above from your own home. So it's like, I think in our community, it's like we're just, it's a lot of different layers, and that's one of them. It's like you got to take that away.
We're not valid if we're not on the chain gang.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. Yeah. She just said it. She went there. There you go.
It's not respected, unfortunately, in our community, until you literally see someone like make $500,000. Then it's like,
but that doesn't work. Ashley and Rebecca, as you know, my background, my trade is as a paralegal, immigration paralegal. Wow. I had a stroke. I had a mini stroke, an ischemic stroke at 36 years old. I'll be 41 on the 28th. It took that for me to say, pardon?
I said 41.
Yeah. I mean, like this 41. I don't even believe it.
Right.
Thank you. But it took that for me to realize, hey, if you keep on doing what you're doing, you're going to be dead. You had a mini stroke at 36 years old. Now, you say you want to model. Okay, there's no 401k in modeling. How are you going to make that happen for you? Because you're liking the money of this. You're liking it's, there's most social status when I tell people I'm an immigration paralegal. I can help you with your H-1B cases and your wedding visas, as opposed to saying I'm a model. Most people think I'm a stripper, but I had to realize, do I continue taking that path? Was that something I wanted to do? Yes, it was. Did I accomplish it? I accomplished it to the point where I was in the hospital, stroking. How do I channel that? Because my fear is always the finances. Where's my 401k? Where's my weekly paycheck? How am I going to make this happen for me being a model? And Ashley, I think, thank you. These are the things that we need to know. Index funds, what stocks do you have? Are there any dividends? Can you profit off dividends to kind of, live for 6 months or 3 months? How do you know your craft well enough to be able to maybe network with people in your network, local vendors, to make it happen for you? Because I know for me, it was, aren't you a smart kid? How are you going to put gas in the car? You say you want to go and model? Go and model. let's see if you'll be eating in the McDonald's menu.
Mm.
And there were some very tough times for me until I kind of learned. I do come from a family that my mother, she did teach us some about finances. She was that single parent. So for me, it was always, I did not come from a silver spoon at all. The food stamps, the whole nine. So it's always the issue of safeguarding my coins. And I want it to be for myself and others to where, yes, we are safeguarding. Yes, we are I don't want to say hustling. Yes, we are working and we are industrious, but we're not doing this grind thing. We're doing it more from a sense of uh, being smart and mental fortitude, as opposed to killing ourselves, because we are dying. You get the cancers, you get the stresses. How can we do this in a safe way, but a smart way? Because I feel that it can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
is very, that is honestly, if you really look at just where business is going, revolution wise, right? We really have to understand the evolution of where business is headed. It's digital. Like it's no other way around it. It's digital. And so you have to constantly evolve just as a business owner, as a creator, you have to constantly evolve. But the one thing that we can always say that remains the same, money is the foundation of it all. It's the foundation of it all. And when you are able to get to a place where you really utilize your brain, because a lot of people think learning stops after high school or learning stops after college, and it's like, no, that's just, you stop learning that particular thing, right? But you never should stop learning. Meaning, if you're looking at your finances and you're like, okay, do I really want to work another job to bring an extra 5,000 in? Or is this the moment where I have to start becoming creative? What are my talents? What are my passions? Okay, now I need to write them down. Okay, now I need to figure out what is the funding status. See, that's why money is still the foundation of everything, because it has to get funded. And so we have to get to a place where we're understanding the options that we have may not come in this box that we think it looks like, because a lot of times we feel like, oh, if it's not, just for instance, crypto, or if it's not, this stock market, if it's not me putting in Tesla, then, I don't see me getting rich off of it, because this is what certain people mindset is. I don't see me getting rich off of it. I don't see me, being able to profit. But people who genuinely want to build wealth, and I mean generational wealth, where your last name, look, is going from generation to generation, right? Your grandkids aren't throwing spitballs at your pictures because you left them nothing. They're actually saying, wow, I'm so glad my grandmother knew, about index, and I'm glad that she got things in place for me, so that now that, well, most people may not have that emergency fund, I have that. Where most people may have, had to go and get all these loans out, for college. I don't know what that's like, that my grandmother, my mother, they set me up in a place where, when I was able to graduate college, not only did I not have to pay for it, but now, my credit score is great. So I'm actually leaving college, with the 700 plus credit score, and I have the option of my parents who put money away for me, or even if they didn't put money away, but they set it up in a way where I'm able to get a distribution each month. Man, now I can really see myself, as a homeowner straight out of college with a great credit score. Right. Now you literally are set up for success. Right. But we know, a lot of times that's not how it was handed to us. And so by default, right, sometimes people think, well, it wasn't set up for us, so why would I set it up for the next? It's so many narratives and things in our community that we have to really fight through to understand that this up here, man, it's a powerful tool. And if you really start to, your mind is a garden. And I say this all the time to the women I coach, to anyone that I have a mentorship session with, your mind is a garden. Whatever you water it with, that's what it's going to grow from, realistically. So if you're watering your mindset, it's not maybe you just tuning into, the Susie Ormans or just a podcast. I mean, it's so much information that you can just log into and just listen. Just listen. Not saying that you have to move and act on it. Hey, at least be open to listening, right, to knowing that a bank is not your only option. The wealthy actually talks about how they don't even keep a lot of their money in the banks because it's not giving them a rate of return. So they want to have their money somewhere where it's giving them a rate of return. And guess what they do? They turn to the financial professionals and we sit down with them and we show them, Voya may have this, Prudential may have this, these are some of the options. This is what, this is how your money is going to perform. I have so many in-depth conversations with so many people, but unfortunately, it's not enough of our people. But they're understanding, I literally have the potential to be my own bank.
Right.
If I just sit down and I have this conversation with Ashley and her husband, and they really educate us on the options, right? Now I realize I can be my own bank. But in our community, we view it as BYOB, just bring your bottle and no. How about be your own bank? Let you be your own bank. Now,
Glory.
we imagine though, if we could really be our own bank, we would slaughter we would slaughter every industry, even fashion, because we all know fashion is, let's call it what it is, right? It's an industry where you either got to know a lot of people or you got to have a lot of money.
Right.
We're talking about you're trying to go to New York Fashion Week and really get yourself out there as a designer, you have to have connections and coins. The 2 C's.
Teach and preach.
2 C's, connections and coins, right? So what if you were able to be your own bank? So now you can really start to put up the money you want to put into the vision, right? Into the way you want to be able to fund it. And now, because you being liquid heavy, right? Now you go and build your own table. If they don't want to let you through their door, just go back and buy the building. That's my concept.
That's what I love that.
Wow.
That's what I say all the time. If they don't let you, if you can't buy a seat at the table, if they don't let you sit at the table, go on ahead, build your own, have a seat, and invite your own people to the table.
Wow.
That's what you got to do.
By the building.
By the building.
That part. Look, yeah.
The building.
All right, you don't want to let me in here?
Church.
Yeah, let's write it up. Let's write it up.
We have so much influence if we can hone in on that. Because you think about it, that's what Kanye, he made a whole rap about, you're not letting us in. I can't do this, but realistically, this is my thing. Hey, he was still connected. He still had a source to be able to get him in the door. And guess what? He already had the funds.
Right.
So he just really needed the connections.
Right.
So imagine if we become well connected and we have the funds.
Right.
What we could really do in the fashion industry to really change generations.
Absolutely.
People would know more than just Yeezy. People would really start to really invest because they would see, wow, these guys are educated about money. They're reinvesting. They're every time I turn around, it's another one. That's training another one. That this is how we could build up so much wealth, so much respect, so much liquidity in our culture because we're the biggest consumers.
Glory to God.
Why are we not the biggest producers?
Right.
Ashe. Hit my heart.
Yes, I love this. This has been a great conversation. So many insights, so many bullet points, so many just, like I saw Marie Claire, waving her hand. I'm like, that's how I felt. Like I felt like we were really going to church here because but these are conversations that absolutely need to happen. For some people, this may ruffle feathers, this may make you feel uncomfortable. Good. That's all I can really say. It should make you feel uncomfortable because if it's making you feel uncomfortable, it means you're not where you should be and you should start heading in that direction. So if these kind of conversations make you like kind of shift in your seat, then that should be a sign to you that things have got to change for you. So awesome conversation. I always tell people, well, this is for me personally. When my mind shifted, I said, I need to have my children and I need to have everything we need and some of what we want. And as long as those things are happening, I'm fine. So I feel like sometimes you need to shift your mindset. And, you know, I'm personally someone who lives way under my, what is it? I live under my means, like, yeah, below, like way below my means. And I think, and that took a long time. That took a long time to get to that point. But I kind of did a method that you said, Ashley, where you don't even see it. And before you know it, you're living, you know, like, you know, 15, or like at 85% of your income and stuff like that. And you're just like, oh, I didn't even notice. Like, I didn't even realize that, you know, like, you know, so I think there's steps that you can take to get there, and things like that. But definitely, you know, there are resources everywhere. There are financial professionals. There's the internet. There are books. I read a great book last year called Smart Women Finish Rich. And I'm still reading it because I'm following the steps in the book. There's, you know, webinars, Clubhouse. There's so much. So, you know, get out there, find the resources, find the people. And, you know, it's never too late. It's never, ever, ever, ever too late to turn the story around. You know, turn the bank account around and, you know, and start down that path of, you know, financial wealth. And that's really what we're trying to build here is wealth. So thank you, ladies, for this conversation about fashion and finances. It was great. And
Thank you so much.
It was so nice to meet both of you. I would definitely
You as well.
Definitely be connected with Marie because she got the high cheekbones and a beautiful skin. I gotta.
Oh, I mean, like, look at you, like, dude, amazing. Do you model as well, Ashley?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you model as well?
No, I do not model. No.
Oh wow, no. You're gorgeous.
Wow, thank you. No, I will have to kind of come to you and get all the, you know, ins and outs of how my selfie maybe can look. You know, I'm sure you can help me with all the angles.
I got you.
That's awesome. Yes, connection. This is what I love. Connection and community. Love it. So you guys connect, and we will talk to you ladies again soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.